Hello and welcome back to North Cork to the North Bank. I'm John, and joining me tonight are John, Paul, and our returning guest, Owen from Eoin-ly Fans. Owen was in Cardiff on Sunday to watch Arsenal beat Man City 3-0 and lift the Community Shield, so we'll get his first-hand account of the day from travelling over, being at the game. We'll discuss Arsenal performance, the players impressed, and today's major news that Arsenal have agreed a deal with Aston Villa for Ezri Konsa. We'll also talk about the futures of Martinelli and Nwaneri. They're changing by the hour at this stage, with all different stories coming out. So we'll just have a chat about them. We've spoken before, and we'll preview Friday night's Premier League opener against Coventry City. So, when you were at the Principality Stadium to take us through the day, what was the atmosphere like around Cardiff among the Arsenal supporters before the game?
Yeah, so I guess the first thing I'm actually just going to say, and it obviously feels a bit ironic seeing as I travelled from Cork anyway, but I do think it was a disgrace it wasn't done in Wembley, right? Like, it's supposed to be the home of football, and they were hosting a concert. You know, they know years in advance really what their plan for the seasons are, when the World Cup is, etc. And, you know, it's an awful lot of unnecessary travel for both myself and the Arsenal fans in London. You know, 2.5 hour drive is a serious enough trek. But it was a really good day, to be fair. I'd never been to Cardiff myself, and I really liked it as a place. Um, if you've ever been, like, the ground is kind of bang in the middle of the city, so you're in the pub up till nearly 2:15, kick off at 3, and you can just wander down. I thought there was a good atmosphere all around. For the first time ever, it felt like, well, for the first time in a long time, it felt like Arsenal fans were kind of looking down that City are the inferior team now. You know, the kind of banter in the streets and the kind of singing songs, you know, constantly singing second again to the Man City fans, that type of thing. And I felt when it got to the performance on the pitch, it really mimicked that. I thought Arsenal absolutely dominated Man City. I've never seen Man City look so inferior in the last 10 years. Had energy, determination, quality. I'd be a bit worried if I was a Man City fan, to be honest. I thought they were really outclassed. I know outside the Community Shield, and some people will call it a friendly. I think it's a standalone competitive game in my mind. But I thought there was an awful lot of positive takeaways for Arsenal and an awful lot of negatives for Man City, if I'm honest.
Yeah, like when Arsenal scored after 24 seconds through Calafiori, what was the reaction like in the stadium? Like
Well,
the goal, the mood, like it was buzzing, all the singing beforehand, the build up, and then they scored so early.
Well, I was actually sitting, I was the front row at that corner flag that Calafiori ran over to celebrate. So we were all down there with him. You know, a guy lit off one of these red flares. I still have red on my hand from it. Like you say, it straight away set up the tempo for the next 90 minutes. We were kind of in party mood, felt a bit surreal. Like, Arsenal were absolutely just knocking it around, and City couldn't get near it with any sort of meaning. I thought all the Arsenal goals had an awful lot of quality in them. And like you say, it just felt like we were watching Arsenal play a really inferior team. And if you think that we couldn't beat them last year, and Arsenal went out and kind of whooped them going into the start of the season, I think that sent a big message to the rest of the league.
Yeah, like it changed a lot of people's perspective of Man City. John, Arsenal eventually won 3-0. With Kai Havertz and Martin Odegaard adding the other goals. What impressed you the most about the performance?
Yeah, I just have one question for Owen there. Because Arteta has brought in North London Forever, that means people want to see that, no? That means people are getting into the ground a few minutes before kickoff just to be in there for that song to come on. So then nobody missed a goal. Whereas before, you would kind of turn up 5 minutes at the kickoff, so finish your pint, go to the Jacks. But now everyone's in there early just because of that one song. It's amazing, isn't it?
I agree with you. There's more of a pre-match people in their seats, especially when you're at the Emirates. You know, the screens will go up about 15 minutes before to take your seat. And you are right, people aren't late coming there unless, you know, they have delays. Again, for the Community Shield, which is a more casual game, awful lot of people already there, you know, kick off, everyone's at their seats. Everyone's kind of up for it as well. I think it does raise the energy and the tempo. And even for new fans, maybe who don't go to games that often, having a song like that, everyone sings it. So they're then more open to singing other songs and chants. So maybe before they'd have been a bit kind of self-conscious. So I do think it has an awful, a really good kind of bearing on the rest of the atmosphere for the 90 minutes. I'd agree with you. Yeah.
Yeah, because they played in the Aviva, and it was probably the best part of the whole day, because we had to suffer through this violin battle thing for about a quarter of an hour, and then they played that, and it was brilliant. But look, we won't talk about the game. But anyway, yeah, and John, to answer your question, yeah, it was brilliant. It is a friendly, won't get carried away, but it was fantastic. Like the football, and we're watching Tzolis, and we're watching Calafiori, we're watching our left-hand side is going to work, and then our right-hand side shuts down their better side, which is their left, and then we watch Odegaard, and then we're all watching Guimarães. You could probably go through 10 out of the 11 and go, well done, well done, well done, well done, well done. You know? And we won't go on the negative. But then you're with the subs, come on, and look who the subs are. And then look at the squad, and then look at the 5 that got left out. And then it's incredible. And we're going to bring in 2 more top quality, and we still have Timber and Sleebit to come back. And I come through, we have 31 players. We have to shed 6. And we're not leaving Doman, Salmon and Norgard out of our matchday 20s. It's going to be international that was probably at the World Cup being left out. Like, we're so strong.
Like, for me, it was the intensity actually played at. They didn't treat it as a friendly. They went out and said, we're making a statement here. Do you know what I mean? I know people say, oh, it's only Community Shield, but it's not. Like, if you look at their starting 11, that's probably the strongest they had as in the starting 11. Maybe one player you could take out. But I looked at it and I was looking at the Arsenal team and I was saying, look who we don't have playing. And then I saw the bench and I was like, look what we can take off the bench and compare to them. Like, Paul, talking about Man City, like, it's a new beginning for them under Maresca. So, what would you read much into the result or like the way they played or anything?
Very little. We have an established coach who tweaks around the edges every season, but doesn't really go beyond that. So the guys come in, they know the ropes, they know their positions, they know everything. Enzo Maresca's come in, and he's going to have his own ideas and his own identity to impose on this team. So they looked half cooked. They weren't as set as a Man City team normally are, you know what I mean? They still weren't rubbish, by the way. They could have scored a couple of goals only for we have arguably the world's best goalie. And look, it's great to win it, you know what I mean? Look, it gets added to your honours list, as I said last week, and that's good. And we saw guys put their hands up to be involved on Friday, you know what I mean? Because a lot of the lads were not expecting to see them. Well, sensibly, we wouldn't expect to see them, but this is Mikel Arteta. So will Mikel Arteta leave Declan Rice and Bukayo Saka and all these guys on the bench? Or will he just play them from the very beginning against Coventry on Friday? I have a suspicion he will. I just do. You know, I like his previous quotes about like the best players in the world, you know, the Salahs, and when he was talking specifically about him and Liverpool at the time and the De Bruynes and all them, they play 60 games a year and they don't get a break, and that's just the way it is. So I suspect he will actually play those players on Friday. But getting back to City, they just look like a team that's not finished by any means. Looked a little behind us, and they won't be that bad going forward. You know, they just won't. And as for North London Forever, that's the Gyökeres of songs. Fucking hate that fucking song. Sometimes it's like when, you know, there's a massive game and like a European night and some team from abroad comes over and that's sung with gusto, then I can get behind it. But it just, I don't know, maybe it takes time for it to grow into, say, a true anthem like You'll Never Walk Alone or something like that, you know what I mean? It may eventually get there. But right now I just feel like I'm watching 90s rugby there when we were listening to Ireland's Call, you know what I mean? It's not for me. Not for me.
So, Owen, from inside the stadium, was anything you noticed, like tactically, you know, the way Arsenal played in the stadium, watching the game inside, you know, like you kind of get carried away when you're inside the stadium compared to us watching at home on TV. So is there like?
Yeah, well, like I haven't seen a breakdown of stats, for example, right? I'm because I was down the front. I'm looking, at a flat pitch. So let's be honest, once the ball's up the other corner, you obviously have a more limited view. But I just thought the Arsenal midfield were constantly in control. I agree. Someone said that Man City could have had goals, and I actually suspect if Kepa was in goal, the game could have been a draw. But at the same time, nothing really happened that the Arsenal midfield didn't want to happen, I felt. I sent you a video of talking about Odegaard. I thought Odegaard was absolutely sensational. He looked like a different level to everyone else in midfield. And it wasn't the quality with the ball. I thought it was the quality without the ball. He was already moving to intercept it before the opposition player even released it. Reminded me of like a top tennis player. He's already gone. He's there waiting for it. I thought that midfield completely dominated Man City's midfield. And if you think over the years, that's what Pep Guardiola, Man City is renowned for. And I think it does bode well for the season if the midfield's going to be that dominating. Not that they were necessarily, spraying passes for 90 minutes. But if they're in control, we'll control the game, and that will open up attacks, I think. On a side note, I do really disagree with the North London Forever stance. I think the Emirates has had bad atmospheres over the years, quite toxic to be honest. I sometimes a bit of cheese is good, right? And everyone's in on it, whatever the age, how many games you go to or don't go to. Everyone knows the words when they're at the ground, and I think it's very important. And you did mention Champions League nights, especially. I've seen Real Madrid go there and be shocked by the singing of that song. Same with Atletico Madrid this year. Look, they've tweaked the timings of when they play it, that it's being sung when the game actually starts and stuff like that. Look, I don't know what their actual final decision will be there, but I think when they come out of the tunnel and you see the video footage and that song's belting out around the ground, I don't care what people say. That's as good as anything, I think, now. And with the buses arriving and the streets being swarmed, I think Arsenal should be now recognised as having a good atmosphere.
Yeah, Paul just sometimes doesn't like that stuff. Like we're there with Adam at the games, and we're standing outside, and the buses arriving, and he's saying, "I want to go to the pub and have a pint." We're like, we clicked in a minute.
It's very true.
It's true.
Yeah,
I swear, it's like there's just those players going off, people are singing. There's Paul standing there going, "Did I go to the pub?"
Typical Cork man, isn't he?
No,
Yeah.
I tell you, we went up to the hotel and we met Odegaard and Lewis Skelly and Nwaneri and Ray, and he's sitting around the corner in a cafe reading a book on Polish history. So anything he says,
I'm not going to dispute that either.
No?
I told you before, I've no interest in meeting the players at all.
Yeah,
Polish
that's
history is
okay.
fascinating
Hey,
stuff.
each to their own. I think we have to talk about Christos Tzolis. He was involved in all three goals. He assisted two of them. I thought he was like it was a really good debut for a national player. I think he's been impressive so far since he came in. What do you think, John?
first guy to get 2 assists in his debut in Willian. So if he can match what Willian done, we're on the pig's back. And silence. I got a laugh from Paul. And everyone else.
That's because I had the mic off.
I just shook my head. I said, what you said, William, I stopped listening. I was like, no, stop.
Willian got 2 assists in his debut as well. So look, all good things.
I actually think he got 3.
No, but look, he looks the part. He looks brilliant. Let's hope he continues when he's getting kicked and when he's getting half the bit. And we'll find out. It's great when we're flying and when we're on top of what's it going to be like in the Martin Keown months and the December into January months where well we'll see.
As I said, it's only a start, and so far he's impressed. So
yeah,
but we'll see. We'll see. Yeah. And you saw Bruno Guimarães make his debut. What did you think? What he played? I know he came off at half time, like, but
He got a
No,
kick and he had an ice pack on his
yeah,
thigh as well, and he missed training. So hopefully he'll be okay for Friday night. But we'll probably have to dig down the back of the sofa and pull out a Zubamendi World Cup winner or right player of the year.
World Cup winner, yeah.
It's either the World Cup winner or the player of the year. I don't know what we're going to do. But look, no, wasn't he very good punching the ball forward? We were getting the ball in midfield and it was going forward very fast because Lewis Kelly and
Yeah.
Guimarães wanted to play fast. Odegaard kept getting it. He was having a time of his life. The whole three of them were going red arrows. It looked brilliant on TV. Was that the same thing at the ground, Owen?
Well, to me, the thing that stood out to him was the aggression. You know, there was one or two tackles. I forget the Man City player the ball, and he just clung him. I know, like, let's say Declan Rice is obviously a very dominating midfielder, but he doesn't have that kind of fire aggression in him. No, I didn't realise he actually went away with an ice pack on him. I fully expect Bruno, Rice and Odegaard to start Friday night. I think that's our midfield, and I think Arteta will want to get it up and running at home to Coventry, because we have tough games coming up away to Villa, home to Chelsea. That midfield needs to have a bit of experience together because I think it is a very strong trio.
Like we have to have the chat. Like you're looking at, so that's that trio, right? And then you could have another trio of Miles Lewis-Kelly, Zubamendi, and Eze or Marino. Do you know what I mean? Like you just take out those three and put in the other three, and they could be easily as adaptable and play well. You know, it's like, what do you think, Paul? That midfield is serious talent in there.
Well, I've always maintained that, like, on Saturday you play your opponents, and Monday to Friday you're playing against your teammates to start games. So having that quality of player to fight for those places is just, it's chef's kiss. Like it's great. You know, you some of them are going to be upset, but there's going to be a period of time where, like, not one of those guys thinks, yeah, he's better than me, because otherwise he'd have never made it as a professional footballer, you know? So all of them will expect to start. So there's going to be a massive battle to get into our starting 11. And then, like, in reality, I think John touched on it a couple of weeks ago, there's a massive start just to get into the match day squad, you know? And then from there, there's even a massive battle to be used as a sub. So it's all good. In terms of, you know, I agree with Owen. That'd be my starting three right now. It would be tough on the guys that won the title, but like when you buy Bruno Guimarães, you're buying him because you think he's an upgrade. When he's the age he is, you know, you're not saying it's not a punter. It's not a purchase to, you know, hothouse a young guy and bring him through the ranks and whatever. We already got that guy in Skelly.
I have to disagree because Zubamendi played every game last year in the league and we won the league. He can't, like, he has to play. Like, we won the league with him playing in every single game, and most people I listen to, the two best podcasts, Arsevision and Arsblog, Arscast, they all have him out. They all have him out, and it doesn't.
I also have him out.
Ooh, controversial.
John, he was taken out of the team towards the end of the season because he tailed off, and he had tailed off a few games beforehand. We discussed this last week, actually. And it is now, it has always been a meritocracy, I think, under Arteta. And he has massive standards. And if you don't meet him, he'll give you a bit of grace for a while. But after that, it's like, okay, you might be out, kid. Like, we had the Ukrainian fullback, his name escapes me right now, Zinchenko was a mainstay. Mistakes started to creep into his game. Now, it may have been about how much pressure he was put under to be a almost defender midfielder, you know what I mean? Coming into congested places, and he may have been found out and whatever. But Arteta just went, scrap that idea. You're there, you know, I'm going to get somebody else. Like, that's how he operates. He mirrors himself off the best coaches in the world. Not, you know what I mean? He's a nice guy, but he's ruthless at the same time. So he looks at the Mourinhos of the world. In all honesty, he reminds me the more. They talk he's a Pep acolyte. He's not. He acts like Alex Ferguson. That's who he acts like. As in, like, he won the title, and he's looking to bring in players that are going to challenge the established order already. The
Yeah,
squad straight away. Like Bruno Guimarães
straight
is coming in to put it up to Zubamendi, put it up to Declan, put it up to them all. I'm here to play, kid. And he wants that, you know. He'll still, and also, he has gone on record and said we want to win everything. You're not winning everything without the squad being bolstered like that, you know. So that's just my 2 cents. I don't think Zubamendi is useless by any means, a stretch of imagination. I think we have fantastic players across the board. They're all brilliant. But I think Bruno was bought and he cost more. Go ahead.
Sorry, I do think there's a mental weakness in Zubamendi. So I think as the season ran on, he was obviously tired from playing games. But, you know, we saw against, I think it was Bournemouth, when things were kind of going against Arsenal, he kind of had a breakdown on the pitch. Like Declan Rice had to run over and console him. I don't think he started another game after that. He was never going to take a penalty in the Champions League final. You know, even when you see him with Spain, he kind of feels more like just one of their subs. Look, I like him as well. He can definitely play football. But honestly, I think he goes back to Real Sociedad in the next 12 months.
Yeah. Like, I think at the moment, Miles Skelly is playing. Absolutely. 100% he's going to be playing Friday night. I think he's going to start them because he's been probably one of our most consistent players through the whole preseason. He's played every game. And I thought he was excellent against Man City in midfield.
He was, I agree. He was excellent.
Do you know? And like you're looking and going, like, does Arteta look and go, do I have to rush Declan Rice back in, give him a small bit more of a rest? I know he got 45 minutes on Sunday, and he could obviously play the same 3 midfielders on Friday night. He could. No, he could. As I said, don't shoot me. Yeah, he could. But as you said, he could just go, okay, I want to see my strongest 3 and play them. But we don't know. We don't know what he'll do. Like, so.
I think when you factor in the fact we're playing Villa away next, like that's a really tough game, and then home to Chelsea, I think that's why you'll try and gel them as quickly as possible.
By the time we play Villa, they would have sold all their players. But it looks
Konsa's debut could be against Villa.
Yeah,
it could be.
True.
Could be.
Yeah. So, but no, that's a good run. Like if you can get those guys out of the way, like Chelsea and Villa could take points off the other people throughout the season. So if you get those points in the bag, so we did it last year. We had all our tough top ended, and then we had there's no easy games, but we had a less factor going into the running then. So I don't mind facing people over there. You face them when you face them, and what will be will be. But it's nice to get them when they're still not ready. Especially
like Arsenal,
Villa are a problem for them.
Yeah, I agree. That Villa Park away has always been a tough game for us, no matter when we play.
They could also be missing. Ollie Watkins looks like he's gone to Saudi as well. That would be Tielemans, Rodgers, Konsa, and Ollie Watkins. That's like that's the spine of their team.
And Martinelli,
Martin as well.
Yeah, Martinelli.
Well, he's a fucking clone anyway. The battle rod shot at him years ago. What a wanker.
Well, but what happened at Everton, Chelsea, Villa? Who else pumped a load of money into their team? There was just Newcastle. So they all got loads of money pumped into their teams, and none of them challenged. But
the thing is,
money isn't enough.
They're pumping the money in, but if they're not finishing in certain positions in the league, obviously then if they're not making Europe or Champions League, that all comes back. So I mean, they can't go, we can't keep pumping money in when the performances aren't there on the pitch. It's like Newcastle is the bad one, like, and then like they end up selling player after player after player.
I think they're a relegation candidate.
Yeah, it won't be a bad show, but like I think the coach is a good coach they got in as well. He was a Saudi football. He's a good coach, but he has to hit the ground running, and like so he won't like they don't have any main big players anymore. All their big players gone. Like I think Joel Tinton is injured now. I think, and he was made captain or vice captain or something. But I just don't see any star players for him anymore. Like any good player for him is gone.
John, they did buy quite a lot of players. Pardon me. Sorry, they bought a lot of players this summer actually of the Chelsea bracket, if you know what I mean. Young, hungry, well-regarded talents. So it may be that we're underestimating them in that sense. No, I don't think they're going to do anything at the top end of the table, but I think they're trying to bed in a new way of thinking because they come up against all the financial rules all the time. So maybe they're changing their approach to it. I don't think they'll be in trouble for relegation, honestly. I think there's the three that came up will go straight back down there. Not good sides. Maybe Fulham will get dragged into it because Arbeloa, but we'll see. Very strange. He could be. Well, look, the Real Madrid job just choose people up and spits them out.
That kind of fell into him because he was kind of there and behind the scenes. They went here. You can have the end of the season.
You're a warm body. Put on a blazer there and I'll tell you grand.
We had someone
look after you. Just go in and say yes, boys.
So the next part, we're just going to exclude Paul out of the next part, right? So because it's involving one of his favorite players. So Friday night, who starts up front? So Paul, you can mute yourself there for a while. Owen, who do you think up front? Havertz or Gyökeres?
I think Gyökeres should start. I mean, if you're not starting him home to Coventry, you're never starting him. And that's his bread and butter, a home game against a newly promoted team. But when you look at pre-season, I kind of think Arteta's going to lean towards Havertz.
Yeah. John?
It does look like Havertz, but Gyökeres used to play for Coventry. And he'd like nothing more to stick a couple. But if Arteta's preparing his team for Villa and Chelsea, he wants to look at his good team for an hour, be 3 or 4 up, empty the bench. And that is Havertz is the main guy to Tzolis. And he probably goes Madwick on the right and brings Saka on for the last half an hour again. I don't think Rice starts. I think he comes on. Your Guimarães, Odegaard, and the dude who was the
Miles will play. I think he'll play.
Back four. I think it's the Shield team. It's the Shield team probably starts, and then he empties the bench.
I don't think so because the thing is they played Sunday and they're playing Friday night. They had 5 days, between the games. Not the normal 6 or 7. So like I looked at Man City. They played on Sunday. They don't play again till the following Sunday. So we played Sunday and then we played Friday night. I think he will make changes. Like I agree. I think Gyökeres will start this game because if you're going, I think definitely. And then like Havertz, I think Havertz will play against Villa and Chelsea kind of that way.
Yeah, I agree on that.
And I think Saka will start this game as well. I think Saka will start it. But look,
it's good between the two of them.
We're only guessing. We're only guessing. So it's just what we think. But Arteta, you don't know what Arteta could do. So Paul, Gyökeres.
Going to dismiss Gyökeres out of hand, lads, right? I think Gyökeres could have a good season from the bench. I honestly think this is the season where we're going to really be front loaded and we're going to get a ton of goals like we did maybe 2 or 3 seasons ago when we got, I think, 91 goals. And he's going to be very handy coming off the bench, playing against the lesser lights, as you discussed. And he'd come on, our games are 2-0 up, 3-0 up, and he might nod in 1 or 2 himself, and he could end up with 14, 15 goals. And then we sell him back to Sporting, or we sell him to, I don't know, anyone. Once they give us some money.
I can see we're on opposite ends of the Gyökeres spectrum.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we massively are on that. Jeez, I think he's crap.
I mean, he's at the, he's not the most elegant footballer. I don't think that either, but he is effective. I mean, he's the best conversion rate in the league. Ultimately, he's the only striker in the Emirates era who's delivered a league title.
100%, I agree. He joined.
I think our hair now there.
His attitude, I think, is an important element of Arsenal as well. Like there's a cockiness and a confidence to him. Like again, you go to Atletico Madrid, that man nearly burst a lung pressing them. Arsenal got a penalty away to Madrid. He took it. No one in the world thought he was missing. Champions League final, taking a penalty in the shootout. Nobody thought he was going to miss it. I know you might say, it's a penalty, but I think that's important. You need guys who are just, what they're going to do and they're there to do it. Haaland would not score more goals than Gyökeres in that Arsenal setup, I don't think.
All right, I'll give you a question, right? A proposal, essentially. Firstly, I just want to reverse back to a point that John made there. He's the first guy to provide a title in the Emirates era and all that kind of stuff. That's absolute nonsense anyway, right? Aubameyang and Robin Van Persie and all these guys were playing with far less superior teams than Gyökeres is, right? So there's that, okay? He's all like, if it's a seesaw, Robin Van Persie was going up a hill. No, I thought we were a good team, but we weren't. Like, there were better teams. Gyökeres was like, it's all downhill, baby. It's all gravy. You know what I mean? That doesn't work.
Yeah, but
the
just
thing
to
is, right?
counteract that point, no, we did have Van Persie and Adebayor in the year where Eduardo got the injury and Arsenal were going for the league with a peak Fabregas, peak Nasri, peak Rosicky. Van Persie had his chance.
And you know what all those guys had in common? They were really, really young and they hadn't the experience to get it over the line. And they witnessed 2 horror tackles, one especially, the one on the Croatian-Brazilian guy that isn't...
Yeah.
Right. And when that takes a lot out of a team. And they also had a very disruptive, useless fucking captain in William Gallas. He wasn't rounding them up and cajoling them. He wasn't going insane. He wasn't saying, this isn't done. He put himself on the ground, stared at the floor and said, this is fucking done. And felt sorry for himself. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but we're talking here
mentality monsters is what the team we have right now. Mentality monsters. When all those guys played, we had midget fucking mentality. You know what I mean? It was a different thing entirely.
Go on, John.
Yeah, okay. Gyökeres was our top goal scorer up front when we won the league. Saka went out injured. Havertz went out injured. Odegaard went out injured. And he stayed fit all season. Top goal scorer. We won the league. The team fell apart around him and he stayed the course and we won the league. And you don't appreciate it?
Well, look, I do. No, I appreciate that we won the league. And he had a bit to do with it, but he wasn't the main reason.
He was the only one that stayed fit.
The main reason was
And I will add in, he had no
sitting or standing in the technical area. The coach won that league. He just because he went out in the summer previously and stacked the squad because he knew what was necessary. And look, let's hope we keep all these players fit and we don't have to use Gyökeres as much. That's my take on it. Anyway, what was I going to say? Yeah. You said you were talking about penalties and he smashed penalties. That's brilliant. It's an absolute art and having that skill is fantastic. But like, I remember a player who used to never miss penalties too, and his name was Matt Letizia. And I want Matt Letitia's other side of his game. He entertained, he'd pull it out of the sky, he'd bang him in from 40 yards. He'd look like Gyökeres is an Adonis. He's built like a brick shithouse and all this kind of stuff. And he backs into players and he falls over. Matt Letizia looked like he came out of the pub. You know what I mean? And he had fucking pie dripping down his chin.
That's
and
the
he still
point.
used to just like go, this football business is easy.
Never had that drive to go and win something.
For? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Top bins. Boom.
But that's like Letizia won nothing. Like Gyökeres has won back-to-back
league Southampton.
But he should have had the killer instinct to move from Southampton.
Yeah, true. He should have. But like, at the same time, you kind of appreciate the fact that a guy.
I love Letizia. I'm totally with you on that.
Yeah.
But that's my point. Gyökeres does have the attitude. He's a winner. He's not a footballer. He's a winner.
Yeah.
He's won a league. He's won a league title in these last two seasons. One was Sporting, 3, yeah. 2 was Sporting, and then Kent Arsenal won the league. So, look, if he wins the league again this year, then no argument, you're buying a Gyökeres jersey.
That's it, yeah. I just had to let my cat out the back there. Obviously, you heard him meow, and then I had to let him out. If we win the league again and Gyökeres is the top scorer, that cat's getting cooked on my barbecue, right? It's simply that.
What's the cat's name? Gyökeres.
We're
going to move on. So, today's biggest story.
If this ever... John, if this ever takes off in any shape or form, like, and people listen to it in like larger numbers, there'll be some fucking big fucking Swedish cunt come around knocking hello, kick the living shit out of me. Oh shit, I gave it away.
The owner of Spotify is Swedish. So
yeah. Oh yeah.
Get out of jail free card. You're married a Swedish woman.
Yeah.
She probably she definitely annoyed you. She's after annoying you, and you're taking it out on Gyökeres.
We're going to move on. Today's biggest story. So Arsenal will reportedly agreed to feel a deal with Aston Villa for Ezri Konsa, the experienced England international who could play at centre back or right back. It's obviously Paul, what do you think? Konsa, right signing? Yeah.
Well, I think you should ask somebody else first, honestly. I'd have to get my head around it. I'm still going through the old hurdy-gurdy Swedish stuff there at the moment.
Go on. So I'll ask Owen first. Konsa, the right signing?
Funnily, I'm a small bit torn on it as well. I think it's a good signing, and I think he's a good price, and he's a good player. But the other question in my mind is, does this mean Mosquera isn't really up to the task?
Are we considering Mosquera is a young defender? So he's a younger, he's probably, I think Arteta's going for Premier League proven centre back, and he's going, okay, he's coming in. Remember now, as Arsenal fans, we've seen central defenders like Sebastian Scalacci, Mustafi, Socrates, you know what I mean? Igor Stepanov.
Yeah.
So, like, I think Konsa is a good deal for Arsenal. It's good.
And I do wonder, is it the years of trauma you're describing? Because someone said Arteta is like Alex Ferguson. And I agree, like, this is a transfer Alex Ferguson would do. This is a transfer, Chelsea, peak Chelsea would have done. So from that perspective, like, it is a good deal. I think we've instantly solved, I guess, a question mark we probably had about, I don't know, the opening half of the season until Saliba's back. And obviously there's good rotation and everything. But I thought Mosquera looked like he had real quality last season, but he's been a small bit shaky this preseason. And now this move as well maybe says that Arteta's saying he could be the sub, but he can't even cover an injury long term.
Yeah, Judd?
I disagree. The reason Konsa's coming in, Mosquera is good enough, and White is good enough, and Big Gabby's there, and we have the two left backs in Cappy and Calafiori. We're one injury away to a White or a Mosquera from playing Salmon. So Konsa's coming in because Salmon isn't ready, not because Mosquera is ready. We're one injury away from disaster. We're one injury away from Rice going in right back or Zubimendi going in right back. That's why Konsa's coming in, because Salmon isn't ready.
But Konsa is going to start. Or do we all agree on that? Yeah, Konsa's going to start. Right?
No, I wouldn't think so. No, I think it's Mosquera stays in.
All right.
No, I think you're signing him. Like, it's a good analogy you used when you said that Arteta is like Alex Ferguson. Ferguson always strengthened his squad. Always did. He won the league, strengthened the squad. Finish runners up, strengthen your squad. You bring in competition for places, as Paul said a while ago. You have to have, these fellas are training against each other and they're going, I want to play. So their training is probably harder than some of the games they play, And then, like, I think is a no-brainer deal.
And he'll be good from set pieces as well.
Yeah, go on, Paul.
So my take on Mosquera, fine player, no problem with him at all, right? When we bought him, it was a market opportunity. What did we get him for? It was less than 20 million or something like 13.
I think it was
13 million,
13
right?
or something like that.
Yeah, since then he's become a Spanish international. He didn't make the World Cup squad because, look, it's Spain. He's young, as you guys said. And he played a lot more than I expected a £13 million signing to play. So his profile has been elevated, okay? We are definitely not getting rid of him this year, okay? Not at all. But I agree with the guys earlier. I was like, does the coach trust him in this 6-month period? Because 6 months is a long time for a young player to be playing in the centre-back position with all that responsibility. Playing look, if it's going to be, we're thinking it's till January. That means you'll have played nearly half the Premier League games. That means you're going to come up against the top 6 sides, top 7 sides, with Mosquera playing centre back against all those teams. Are you winning all those games? Are you getting draws in those games? Are you losing more often than you're winning? This is what the coach thinks, right? And ultimately he thinks, I don't think he's quite good enough for the top teams, and I can't play him every week. I need proven player that has put an Aston Villa side, a good Aston Villa side, but not an exemplary team. They're good, but he's proven himself in that league over a period of years. And it's like, right, that's what I need while William's out. When William comes back, we'll discuss it then, and we'll see who gets what. When Saliba comes back, we're going to be in the teeth of 4 competitions because the FA Cup, the League Cup, all that kind of stuff. So there will be games to keep them all happy at the time. And then maybe in the summer, we'll revisit the Mascara thing. I agree with John as well, by the way, along the lines of, yeah, he covers right back and all that, because he's a versatile player. That's super. But then it'll be about like, okay, we're going to listen to offers for you, and you came in for 13 million. You're a proven Premier League defender. You're gone, through the grades. You can be sold back to Spain for good money, or Germany, or whatever. The top 5 leagues. Our teams in the Premier League will come in for you too, and we'll make a profit on it. We'll have done that. Like, other teams have done that way better than us for years. And I think Berta is the man that's come in. His remit is to come in, get us the best of the best where possible, but also pick up these kind of guys on the fringes of things, a bit like Meslier this year. Pick up 1 or 2 of these fellas that they come in, they'll play a few games, they impress, or they're Arsenal players on relatively low wages. And when they're moved on, we'll get a significant bump in fee. Or even if you spent, say, 5 million and you sold them for 10, it's 100% up. Like, you know what I mean? That's my thinking on the Mascara scenario. If it makes sense to you guys, I hope it does.
As you were saying there, like one of you was saying, it was like Arsenal. Arteta said we want to win everything, and that's where, as you said, Paul, there'll be room to play people in different games where we can rest the likes of Gabriel. He doesn't play every game. Declan Rice does not play every game now, and then you have, when Saliba comes back, it's not rushing him back. You can ease him back because you have a player that you trust in Konsa playing there. And as John said, if there is an injury to right back, say Ben White gets injured, because we don't know, he could get injured anytime because he's still wearing a strap in on the knee and stuff. And then you're not rushing back Timber because you can play Mascara right back, or Konsa, vice versa. So, but I think it is a good deal for Arsenal. I think I really do. I think he's won, as you said, Paul. Like, they won the Europa League last year, and like he was the mainstay in that central defence. Like, Arsenal played 63 games last year. 63.
Yeah.
And if you want to challenge for every trophy, you need several defenders, because you never know where you get injury. For example, if one of them got injured, the left back, if Nkapé got injured, Calafiori plays, you need Miles Lewis-Skelly as a backup there. You could keep him, kind of that way. And it's the same on the other side. Like, Timber doesn't have to be rushed back now, and because you have Ben White and you have backup, it's just it's competition, and it strengthens the squad more again.
I think the short answer to this is, are Arsenal better with Konsa at the back or not? And the answer is yes, they are better.
Absolutely. Like, it is the short answer. And for 50 million, it's a good deal for.
Yeah, I agree. The
whoever,
fee isn't bad for what he is.
Yeah, it's not like he's not he's. I still think it's a good deal, because it's not an emergency backup. Arsenal going, oh no, we need a defender straight away, and then got overplayed because they wanted 60, 65 for him, but Arsenal got him down to 50, which is, look, it's fine. I'm happy with it. Do you think he'll start? He won't start on Friday night. I don't think they'll have him done in time. But I say he probably could be paraded out as an Arsenal player Friday night.
Yeah, definitely.
I think you're correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His medical more.
We move on. So let's talk about Martinelli and Nwaneri. So they were both left out of the Community Shield squad, but it just showed the strengthened squad that we had. And people are kind of baffled by it, and they're saying, Jesus, Martinelli looks like he's on his way out. And I was saying, like, I think he's kind of stagnated. He's kind of got to a level. He hasn't kicked on in the last 2 years, for example. Like, he's got to a level where he's obviously scoring a few goals and stuff, like coming off the bench in some games, and like Champions League games suit him the most, because games are open and teams don't defend deep, and he's electric pace in behind and scores goals. But performance-wise, he hasn't hit the level I think Arsenal expected him to be at. It looks like they're going to sell him, I think.
I think he's gone, John. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Would
to
you
be
be?
honest, I'll be sad to see him go. I mean, I'm actually looking at my wall here where I have a few Arsenal signed photos, and one of them is Saka and him celebrating, the goals at the Bernabeu. Uh, like he has given us good memories. Our first winner against Man City in God knows how long was him smashing it off Nathan Ake's face.
Yeah.
Like he has given good memories, and I know he's not a homegrown player, but he's like one of them. I don't know what age he was when he joined. He's 16 or 17 for £6 million or something. I will be sad to see him go, but I think he is moving in the next week or two.
Yeah. John?
Well, he got one league goal last year, so that's one more goal more than I did.
Are you the new left winger?
Yeah.
Trossard got one goal in 2026 and won us the league. Martinelli got one league goal, and it was the equaliser against Man City, which that 2-point swing going into the run-in probably won us the league. So they both played their part in their one goals and they got. And let's turn them over for 50, 60 million and be cold about it and be ruthless about it. They're no Gyökeres, the both of them, is the point I'm trying to make.
Paul, Martinelli?
I like Martinelli. I always have liked Martinelli. He's fabulous. But it's just time. It's just time. If he's going, he's going.
You like the one goal. Sorry, Paul. You like the one goal guy, but you don't like the top goal scorer Gyökeres, but you love the one goal guy.
Yeah. Yeah, the one goal guy. Anyway, they're playing completely different position. Anyway, but he was solid in Europe, where the teams come at us in Europe. No European team sees themselves as truly inferior because they've performed well in their own domestic league and whatever, and so they're, shall we say, braver than a lot of the Premier League teams. And I've made this point many a time. When we were the up-and-coming team, people still didn't respect us as much as they do now. And Martinelli absolutely owned them. Brilliant. You go left, you go right, you go past them, he'd score goals from the edge of the box, all that kind of stuff. I do think as well there have been a few tactical tweaks and who he's played with have changed things over the while. But what I would consider important is that we're not making a sideways move, because we've been watching him for years, so we know he's a good player and he's defensively sound more often than not, and he's a threat, and he what he does as well is he keeps his opposing player honest. That opposing player can't go up the pitch and think, I'm going to be in the attacking zone, because he'll get absolutely rinsed. But what I mean is, like, whoever we bring in has to be an obvious upgrade, because he is a bit of a fan favorite, and it's like, yeah, like, it's if we bought someone that was just a sideways move, as in, like, we end up buying someone with a similar profile that doesn't excel beyond him, like, essentially, the Bradley Barclays and those kind of guys. Bradley Barclay has, I think he's just a swap, It has to be someone beyond that. Like, Bradley Barclay doesn't start the big games for PSG. He's there, Martinelli. And there is one team that are slightly ahead of us in Europe currently, and that's PSG. We've taken them to penalties. We lost the match on penalties when our centre-half blew one over the bar. We were just as good in that game, if not better than them. You know what I mean? And that was the difference. So we just need someone takes it that one step beyond. Who they are, I have no idea, but that's what I mean.
Ethan Nwaneri, John. It looks like it's going to be a loan instead of a sale.
That's good. It's good to if we can. Do you know the way you? I did fatten up a pig and then you sell him, or a cow and you fatten them up and then you sell them. We need to get better at fattening up our players and selling them on. And if we were, it's a youth player come through. He's caused a bit of problems. He held out to get a big bump in money when he was about to leave for now. Remember, he ran it right to the last week to get that big bump in money. And then his brother threw his toys out of the pram a few weeks ago, Emerson Nwaneri, to get his bump and his deal. So in a calm environment, the sofa reality is, these two are a bit of egos, it seems. That's the feeling I'm getting. And his talent, he burst through. I don't want to play on the right wing, right? That was came from him. And then halfway through the season, I'm not getting my game. I want a loan. And he goes off. It's all him. There's a bit of an ego. Or his advisors are terrible, and he's listening to them. I think it's the advisors more than the person. But There doesn't seem to be harmony with him. I believe this to be true, but it's not opinion. This is the right people are saying this. So I think fatten him up, sell him on, go on, good luck, because there'll be another one. Max Stoneman will be better in the same position. So go on, let's get your 40, 50, go out and loan, do fantastic. Let's get a good fee from him. And good luck.
How do you feel, Owen?
I kind of feel he is going to be sold ultimately. I mean, whether it's this year or next year. I agree a bit there. He just doesn't look that happy when he's playing. Like, he doesn't look part of it, does he? He kind of looks like, it's not like that he's sulky, but just kind of looks like he's on his own amongst the team. Like, even when he whacked in that goal against Man City, well, a year and a half ago now, 5-1. I don't know, all the other players, whatever you think of them and rate their ability, like, they're all bought into it and they're all running through walls for Arteta. But it just doesn't feel like he's part of that.
Yeah. Like, I think he just wiped his nose or something, like, with the sleeve after he scored.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Whereas, like, someone like when Miles Lewis-Kelly scored, he done the Haaland celebration. So
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But like, it just comes down to it. Like, obviously Arsenal had the conversation because it looked like earlier this week that it could be a sale, and now they're looking. We're probably just going to get you a loan. But I think like the loan last year to Marseille didn't work out for him because De Zerbi actually brought him in, and then he ended up leaving, and then he didn't play as much, and then he came back. Whereas I think a Premier League team comes in for him. He should stay in the Premier League. I think that's where he needs to play, and that's the problem. Yes, it just has to be the right move for the club and for him.
Does he not scream Fulham?
Yeah, this sudden switch to loan gives vibes of people know he's unsettled and they're lowballing us, and we're not willing to sell him at a low price, and we'd rather take a punt on another loan with a good club and have it like he went over to Marseille and there were provisos that he would play and so forth and so on, and De Zerbi was gone with us, and then that was the end of that. So I think it was like we want him gone. We want to get a good price for him because he is a precocious talent, but in terms of his body language and all that, I just think he's not very demonstrative, whereas Miles Lewis-Kelly is a very demonstrative guy. He's brash and all that kind of stuff. The other fella's far more shy and retiring, but he's very confident in his ability, but like he doesn't want to be the a showman in that sense. He let his football do the talking. But yeah, that's where I'm at with it. I think Arsenal want possibly 40 million from him. No one's giving it to us. Send him out on loan, as John alluded to earlier. Play well, plump him up for a sale. Off he goes. There's like I honestly don't think he has a true future at Arsenal anyway. But Max Stoneman there, Saka's not going anywhere for another couple of years. Martin Odegaard is at the club. It is just a case of many good players for him to push aside. You know, we got to be realistic about it, and I don't think he has the balls for the fight, to be honest. That's just my take.
Comes down to minutes. Then again, he's not going to get the minutes he probably wants. Do you know what I mean? So like,
percent, John, and then like that just tanks his value. If we keep him around, tanks his value. So he needs to go, and for himself as well. Look, like brilliant to see an Arsenal guy come through. Had a great season there a couple of years ago. Broke through, looked like the world. Absolutely, I was mesmerised by the guy. Cuts inside, smashes top bins. He reminded me of Arjen Robben. That's like, as in he had that one jink and then he just boom, top corner. And if you can do that on repeat, you're going to be a fantastic footballer. But he just tailed off a bit, I suppose.
That word in football, consistency.
Yeah, 100%.
So Arsenal begin the defence of the Premier League title against Coventry and at the Emirates on Friday night. Coventry are back for the first time, I think it's 25 years or something like that. I read 25 years since they've been in the Premier League. I think it's 2001. It's the last time they were in the Premier League. And Owen, you're going to the game. What sort of atmosphere are you expecting for the first league game as defending champions?
Well, I mean, I expect it to be pretty good. We've been waiting a long time, really, for this kickoff. Years. Really looking forward to it. It's kind of a perfect game to kick off the season. Friday night. Despite what some people think here, we'll obviously sing in North London forever loudly. I think everyone will be up for it. Everyone will be into it. And it's not like I'm disrespecting Coventry here, but we saw on Sunday that Arsenal look up for it at the minute, and I think they're going to run Coventry into the ground. And I think our main man Gyökeres will pop up with a few goals.
Are you looking
Nice, I
forward to
like
seeing
it.
the? Are you looking forward to seeing the shield being walked up?
Well, I mean,
The
you know,
shield will
if
be
I
there.
need to eat my dinner, at least there's a plate around.
They'll bring out the shield first. They'll bring out the Premier League trophy after.
Yeah. Well, all jokes aside, they probably will bring out Konsa, which again will help with atmosphere and mood and everything.
Yeah.
I was at the Leeds game where Gyökeres scored his first goals for Arsenal, and what a day that was! Oh, I enjoyed that so much.
And that's where I declare to the clock end actually that this is the year, this is history. And you know what? For once in my life, I was right, baby.
Paul, what sort of game are you expecting?
Far cagier than you guys think. I think Coventry are going to come with like nothing to lose. They've got those debut match kind of vibes going on. No, I think in the end we'll have too much fun, but I don't think it's going to be a cakewalk at all. I think it might be a 2-1, 3-1 kind of game, being honest. But if something goes awry early doors, we get some kind of silly red card. It could be difficult there. But, the promoted teams are always, first day back, they're always at their most intense, shall we say. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like you don't know what to expect from them. Like they've a couple of new players.
Yeah, so
One or two that-
unknown quantity.
Yeah, Arsenal will know them, but like us watching fans, if we haven't watched the championship last year with them, they did make a couple of signings. I think Lampard's a good coach for them as well. He's clever. He's a clever man.
Frank.
Yeah. Like,
Shredded to death, but they call him Fat Frank. It's mad.
well, I think they'll do the typical sitting deep, make it compact, and not hard to break down, all that stuff. I just think Arsenal have to move the ball quick and try to get an early goal, do you know what I mean? And then obviously build on that, so it'll be interesting.
Yeah.
I look forward to it. Like, you have to look forward to the start of the Premier League. So, as reigning champions as well. So,
All right, before we go,
Go on.
before we go, let's ye three at least anyway. Give us your starting 11.
I'd go. So obviously, Ray and goal. I think it's the same back four from Sunday. I'd like to see Miles play, but I agree with Owen that he will play Declan Rice, Guimarães, and Odegaard in that midfield. And I think it'll be Saka, Tzolis, and Gyökeres up front. That's what I think. Owen, any changes to that?
That's what I would like it to be, but I think he might start Havertz over Gyökeres.
So one change. John?
Ray's back injury. Let's see. Could be kept on goal. And the Guimarães didn't train either Monday, Tuesday, first day back. So we mightn't see Guimarães, I'd say. I think Zubimendi comes in. I think you're all wrong on him. He tailed off because it was his first year in England. And again,
for the record, sorry, no, I'm not saying he won't come in to fill in gaps and stuff. I absolutely think he will. But I think Bruno is the starter over him, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think they complement each other and they'll be brilliant together. And I think Rice gets more of a rest. I think it's Odegaard and the two of them. If it's not Miles, but Miles should stay in my opinion.
Like if it's not Guimarães, then it's Miles, Rice, and Odegaard. That would be,
I think Rice sits out a bit more and Zubimendi play. That's like 38 games in the league winning season. It's so simple.
It's like Arsenal go in by Guimarães because there is something that obviously we don't know. We spoke about it last week. Like with Zubimendi, like he had a tail off. He could have been homesick. We don't know. It could be something in his personal life. We don't know. That we didn't know anything. Paul said last week we didn't know anything about Trossard at the time, and that came out. So and he was playing through because he probably was stronger. But the thing is, like Zubimendi could have been homesick. It could have been anything. mentally, like you don't tail off like that if you're that good of a player. It's just it was something. Do you know what I mean? So
Of course you tail off in the Premier League. Perez tailed off. Bergkamp tailed off. Of course you tail off in the Premier League in your first season. No Christmas break. Wouldn't come the year before.
But
Liverpool.
they don't break down in the middle of a game,
no,
though.
it
Like
looked like
nearly
it looked like a visible
tears.
breakdown, as Owen was saying. It looked like a visible breakdown, but we don't know. Like I said, like he could have been struggling. So we don't know. Mentally, he could have been struggling. You know, I see. Like I think he played like the most he played in the World Cup was about 40, 50 minutes. That was it.
The most important
That
one
was
he
it.
played. He came on in the final and they won. I just think if the best World Cup winning manager trusts him, and if Arteta trusts him for 38 out of 38, I trust him too. So that's all I'm saying.
Rayon goal, Mosquera, Gabriel, White, Calafiori. I'm probably going to contradict myself. I don't know. Because I thought, like, as I said earlier, I think it'll be far tighter than this, but I think we're going to just go from. So it'll be, I think Eze will be in there over Odegaard, and it'll be Bruno and Rice, Tzolis, Havertz, and we will start Madueke rather than Saka. And I as I said earlier, I wouldn't be surprised if he starts all the main guys. But I think let's hope he's going to be sensible. I think the team I've mentioned there really is more of a hope than expectation team. So that's what I hope to see. It should still be enough to beat Coventry.
Sorry for cutting in now because the two boys haven't said anything, but there's no ways it's coming in over Odegaard. Go on, lads, talk away.
I agree. Yeah.
Odegaard plays absolutely. He was superb, as Owen said in his video I was watching. Like it was everything. The way he moves the ball, he manipulates the ball is phenomenal. Like if the ball was played into him one stage, he just turned out. He just turned and didn't even touch the ball. And I think it was Rico Lewis or something tried to tackle and pull him back, but he looked so sharp.
And he looked happy, John.
Yeah,
he didn't look happy for a while.
The goal, the way he took the goal was that impressed me. Like he sat the keeper down, big smile on his face, just rolls it past him. You know, like before Odegaard would have taken a touch and just hit it. Like last year or the year before, you know, he looks fit. He looks because he had a good World Cup.
Like, he had a great World Cup.
Yeah, and he led that Norway team. You know, but I remember watching the game against Brazil, and Brazil couldn't get nowhere near him. And he was brilliant in that game. And he went the other day when I was watching him, reminded me of that game because how good he was. He influenced Arsenal the way we played, the way we wanted to play. And he released the ball early, he was playing forward passes. He wasn't holding on to the ball as much as he did last year. Like before, he used to get the ball deep and take touches and play the ball wide out to the full backs, and then he never kind of punched it forward into the wingers or things like that. You know, so he definitely plays. He's the captain. He definitely plays on Friday night.
And I think at the end of last season, after the Man City game, there was a slight tactical midfield change when Skelly came in. And Odegaard's performances, people didn't really mention at the time, but they drastically improved. Like, you know, he got that assist against against West Ham. He had a few good performances on the run into the summer. But something else, I suppose, that we haven't mentioned is the Aston Villa game is until the following Monday night. So there's actually a good rest period after this game, as in it's nearly a week and a half.
Yeah. It's 9 days, I think, is it? Something like that. You know, so
yeah.
Like because they play Friday night, they probably do recovery sessions Saturday, train Sunday, then they don't play till the following Monday night. So like that's a big one. And then the Chelsea games is Sunday, is it? I think that's after that then as well. So like there's good breaks in between those ones. There's not we're not playing every 3 days yet. You know? Yeah. Anyone else?
It's all good anyway, really. We're going to win the league anyway, regardless. Come on. To be honest, really. Let's just put the cards on the table here. Are we going to be champions again?
Absolutely.
I think so. Yeah.
I'm very confident this year. Like it's just a different vibe this year. I just feel so confident. Like I was built to last year through watching the games I was building was good. I just felt last year, especially after the start we had when we didn't beat the top run, came through that well. And then we had the kind of easier games, as John said, and then we picked up the results off them. But I think Pep Guardiola not in the league is a huge thing. It's a massive,
Huge.
massive thing.
Massive.
I think like it's like Ferguson used to say the goalkeeper is worth 10 points. He was worth points to them. The way he set teams up and motivate players and stuff like that. You know, I just think he was such a huge factor.
I will just say there was a lot of Liverpool fans this time last year saying the same thing. So we'll see how we go.
Yeah, but
honestly, I think that Liverpool team won it because we had too many injuries early doors. We couldn't get near them because the squad was, and it wasn't as strong a squad as we had last year. But the squad we had the year previous was nowhere near as good, and we lost so many key players throughout the season, and a lot of them struggled to get back to any kind of form.
I think there was a fatigue that year in the Arsenal squad from the previous year. I agree on that. But I'm just saying,
that too,
Arsenal have won one league in the last 20 years. Watching them on Sunday, I felt like, my God, there actually is an opportunity for Arsenal to go on and be the dominating team for the next few years. But, let's win a few games first and let's see how we go.
Yeah.
That was my sixth time seeing them win the title. And I've always felt the next year, that's a piece of piss. We're going to win it again. And we never did. So, so there it is that.
We should have won once. But the thing is then we were up against Alex Ferguson in a couple of those, Paulie. So
yeah.
I just think Liverpool and Chelsea have appointed very good managers.
Oh yeah, like we spoke about that before, Paul. The appointments that Chelsea and Liverpool have made manager-wise.
Yeah, good guys. I'm especially impressed with Liverpool's coach, but he does have this kind of tendency to take a while to get his teams up and running. I mean, his first 9 games for Bournemouth, they didn't win any of them. And if that's Liverpool, no, it shouldn't be considering the class of player to have. But even if it's a half that they lose 4 in their first 9, they're done. That they're cooked in terms of the title already. They're going for Europe. I think Chelsea will be our closest rival. Alonso is a good coach. They have fantastic players, and if someone can get a hold of that group, they could definitely push us.
But 1 game a week.
Still think Arsenal
1 game a week, exactly. Yeah.
1 game a week is a big point. No, I agree.
Yeah. Like, what's that till January, isn't it? Till the FA Cup or maybe the League Cup or whatever. But
yeah, it's 1 game a week. They have so many players as well. They could play a different 11.
I know, that's the thing. Yeah. But look, I think we're still the team to beat. We're favourites for a reason. So look, we'll see. We've been there. We've done it. We're strengthening our squad again. And everyone else is chasing us. We'll finish up on that. So Arsenal couldn't have asked for a better start, beating Man City 3-0 to lift the Community Shield and showed the kind of hunger that we want to see. After winning the Premier League, it looks like they're ready to defend this time. It's hard to do, So I think as we said, Tzolis made a good early start. Bruno strengthens our midfield, and with the arrival of Konsa, is going to strengthen the defence. So we just need strengthen the attack. So now the real competition begins. Coventry at home on Friday night. Safe travels on that one, Owen.
Oh, cheers.
With Arsenal beginning the defence of the Premier League title. Owen, thanks again for joining us. Before we finish, tell everyone where to go find you.
So I'm on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube now, baby. So it's Eoin-ly Fans, EOINLY Fans, and it should come up for you.
Yeah, and follow his match day blogs on all his social media. It's good fun, and you can actually see his Lego collection and some of them as well. So thanks to John and Paul as always.
See you. Good luck.
Thanks, lads.
Thank you. Thanks for hosting us,
thanks
John.
to everyone for listening to North Cork to North Bank. follow the podcast, leave us a rating and a comment, and share this
Thank you
episode
very much.
with another Arsenal supporter. Thank you so much, lads.
Cheers, lads.
Be good.